I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of the mapObject function in Underscore. I'm in a coffee shop now, so it might be a bit noisy, but we're just gonna do it one step at a time here. So here we have our function call. So mapObject, we're passing in an object here with start key value 5, end key value 12. And we're passing in this iterate function, as they call it in Underscore. So this takes two arguments, val and key, and we're just taking val and adding 5, and that's all it does. So what we expect out of this function call is to add 5 to both the start and end values on this object. So let's walk through the debugger and see how that goes. So here we are in the debugger. We can step into the mapObject function. And here we are in the mapObject function. We can see the object that we've passed in as the object argument here. So here's the object, and we have our iterate function, which is an anonymous function that takes in val and key. So at this step, we're basically, I'm a little unclear what happens here. I think it's some sort of magic. This function CB, I haven't looked into it exactly, but it's a internal helper method that Underscore uses to get your iterate function set up. But if we, now we're in the CB function. Let's pop back out so we can focus on the others. So here we're getting our keys, so we're getting an array of the keys in our object using Underscore's keys method. So we pass it our object, and it'll return us an array with our key names in it, which you can see here. Okay, so now we've run keys, so we have our array of keys. We just quickly get the length of our keys array. And then we set up our results object, which is a blank object now that we're going to use to construct our new object that's been transformed from our iterate function. So at the next step, we have a for loop. We're basically going to loop through the various keys in our object. So here we can go through for the first time. We're going to get our current key, so we'll look at our keys array at index 0. So that's the start key, and we set that to current key. And then we assign on our results object at the current key, which is start, the result of our iterate function. And so to our iterate function, we're passing in our key at object current key, and we're passing in the current key as well and the object. So we can step into our iterate function, and we've passed in the value and the key, and we're simply returning the value plus 5. So 5 plus 5 should give us 10. Here's our return value of 10. And now we'll pop our anonymous iterate function off of the call stack. And we're back into mapObject here. And you can see our results object is building up. So now we have a start key, and the value is now 10, where it used to be 5. So now we'll go through again. And now we're looking at keys at index 1, so that'll be the end key, and we'll set that to the current key. So now current key is end. We'll look at the results object at current key, which is now end. So we'll assign a value there, and the value again will be the result of our iterate function. So we're passing in the value, which is currently 12, and the current key and object, and we'll do a transformation in here where we simply add 5 to the value that we've passed in, which is 12 this time. So we expect we'll return a value of 17, which we see here. And now we see our results object has built up. We have both start and end, and the values have been transformed by simply adding 5. So there's our object, and we're done with our for loop at this point. So now we finally return the results object, and we're done. And that's how mapObject works in Underscore.